Hi, I'm Dave Littell from the American College, and I'm here with Joe Labella from Voya Investment Management. And we're talking about choosing mutual funds for a retiree's portfolio. Welcome, Joe.
Thanks, Dave.
Now, Joe, in the RICP curriculum, we focus a lot on this idea of sequence of return risk, which is this risk that negative returns at the wrong time can really undermine a retirement income plan. So obviously one way to manage this risk is to limit or at least minimize the downside risk in a portfolio. Are there actively managed mutual funds that can control downside risk better than others?
Sure, but I do want to start with the basic premise that sequence of returns is really an asset allocation decision. Mm-hmm. So if you think about it, if you reduce the volatility of your portfolio as you go towards retirement, in other words, reduce your equity exposure, that will help lessen the blow of sequence of returns. However, it's a conundrum if you think about it, because once you're in retirement and now people are living much longer and healthier, maybe 30 years, you're going to need some exposure to equities in order to make it through retirement. But to your question about the active manager aspect of it, it is important, and I think at Voya Investment Management we have come up with this consistency lens that is predicated on 6 return-based factors, 2 of which are really focused in on downside volatility, Sortino ratio and downside capture. So for a retiree, we optimize the weights of those factors to give you an active fund manager that comports to that retiree's risk profile.
All right, that's interesting. Can you go into those 2 factors a little bit more?
Sure. When you think about it, what do clients really care about? They care about making money and not losing money. Mm-hmm. So when it comes to downside volatility or downside protection, we look at Sortino ratio, right, which is a measure of a probability of a manager not losing money, and also downside capture, which is really the loss of money. If you think about it when the market is down, does a manager have a sell discipline? Can they get out or avoid those landmines? And obviously a retiree, it's more susceptible to actually losing money, so it's important that they have a manager, an active manager, that pays particular interest to those 2 factors. And our consistency lens goes to great lengths at scoring managers, and you can see just how well managers are scored and ranked versus the benchmark and other managers in that asset class.
Okay. So when you're managing or measuring performance, these downside factors are really important for the retiree, but are there other factors that should be looked at too?
Yeah, one important factor is R squared, which is kind of a goodness of fit. It's really a style purity play if you think about it. To me, it's almost like the canary in the coal mine, because it validates all the other factors that we look at, and returns, obviously. So if you have a fund that's doing extraordinarily well performance-wise, but the R squared keeps getting lower and lower every quarter, that should be a concern to an advisor, because the returns are coming from some other point and not the benchmark that they've been assigned to.
Okay. All right, so Joe, if we weigh the downside risks more heavily in a retirement portfolio, what return characteristics has your research shown can be accomplished?
Well, obviously, David, we're going to reduce volatility, but more importantly for a retiree, we're going to eliminate the boom-bust cycle so common with managing money in this environment. Mm-hmm. So it's really important to have a consistent, reliable approach to retirement investing, which makes for a distressed client and a distressed client portfolio.
Okay. And then they'll be happier with their advisor as well.
That's the goal.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, David.
This video was made possible by the New York Life Center for Retirement Income.